All right, so today is July 1st, and it is Tuesday, so we're going to go over my trades for today. And today was a bit of a rough one. I definitely took too many trades and just kind of lacked the emotional discipline that I should have had. But let's start with Forex Factory. So today we had some news in the morning. Fed Chair Powell was speaking, and then we had manufacturing data at 10. And so the morning was pretty busy with different news events, which makes it not really a great trading environment. And then additionally, we have July 4th this week. So it's a short week. Thursday's a half day, Friday's off. So honestly, I didn't really have much expectations coming into today. And the next two trading sessions, I'll have those expectations as well. But sometimes what that makes me do is that makes me force a trade because I feel like, well, there's not going to be that great of an opportunity today. Let me try and get something while I can and make something out of nothing. And that's kind of what um, that's where I faltered today. That was my big mistake for the day. And so let's look at what we did and why that was a mistake. So here's the chart of the S&P 500. If we look on the daily chart, we're still pretty bullish. We are starting to get a little exhausted at these new all-time highs, but there's nothing about this chart that really wants to make me get short going into the open. If we look at the hourly, we're starting to roll over a little bit. Um, we still haven't really taken out this lower or this higher low though. So this is going to be a key level for us here. You can see during the session we actually tested it and it held as support, but this is going to be a key trend change type of area for us. And so once this gets broken, then I'll really be interested in saying, okay, well maybe we can look to short this back down to, you know, down into this consolidation here, back to these all-time highs. But for now, I still want to stay bullish. And so what should have happened today for me is if we're looking on the 5-minute chart, I'm just going to jump ahead really quick. These EMAs never got above VWAP. So I didn't get a long trigger today, and it really should have just probably been a no trade day. But the only viable trade that there was is this one that I'm going to explain right now. So if we go down to the 1-minute chart, we started the day off pretty much just in a consolidation. And so there really wasn't anything here. I wasn't looking to short because of the higher time frames, even though the EMAs were below VWAP, but this was just chop up until 10:15. And then we got to push higher, and what I was looking for is I was looking for these EMAs to get above to maybe trade to this euro high. But that didn't happen. We ended up reversing and then breaking this range here. So we started breaking these lows, and once we did that, a lot of times um, once you break these ranges, you get false breakouts, but a lot of times you get a retest and then we start to trade lower and actually have a range break, and that's what happened today. Now, this really caught me off guard. I wasn't looking to get short, and so I definitely did force some trades in here, kind of anticipating this breakout, and that's my fault. Like I said, coming into the day, I thought to myself, okay, well, there's not going to be a lot of good opportunities. I should probably just not really expect much. But what that flipped to is I kind of had a mental lapse, and it was like, all right, well, let's try and force something out of nothing. And that's where you get into trouble with futures trading, because you can make a case to scalp the futures markets all day. You could take 100 trades in a day if you wanted to. Now, I need to do a better job of that. That's somewhere where I need to personally improve. But so what we see is when this range finally broke to the downside, we had a viable short right here where we had this consolidation, we had a push lower, and then what I like to see is a little retracement back into these EMAs. And when we got that, we got a nice selling candle here, nice topping wick, and we had really good follow through. So that could have been the short right there. That's the only viable trade that I could have really justified taking, is shorting on the open of this candle right here. And you can see that it paid off very nicely. This traded another 150 points lower. But hindsight's 2020, guys. In trading, everything looks easier in hindsight. Um, I definitely screwed up today. Luckily, I was still profitable and kept my win streak alive, but this was just not a good day for me. I honestly didn't even want to make the video, and I was a little pissed at myself. But if we look at the performance for today, I still made $295, most of it coming on this short right here at 1032. And so the total account value on my Apex account right now is $54,660. I put in for a payout today, and I think I'm going to get denied because of consistency. And so let's look at that. Let's see if we can predict if they're going to deny me. So today, 295. What you need is eight trading days. I think where you make a profit of at least $50. And so we had this trade, so that's one day. The 30th, I actually lost $25. The 27th made 480, so that's 3 traded days. 26th made 280, so that's 4. 25th made 475, so that's 5. 24th made 440, so that's 6. 23rd made 435, so that's 7. And so made 770. That's what I think they're going to get me on, is I think they're going to say that this violated the consistency rule. So let's see. Did I have a trading day before that? No. So that's when I started my PA. Damn, that sucks. I think they're going to deny me for consistency, and they're going to cite this saying that I made too much money on one day, which is really lame. But, you know, rules of the prop trading world. But all that means is I just have to buckle down and bag 8 more trading days where I stick to my plan, my losses don't get too big, and my winners don't get too big, which is kind of oxymoronic in trading. You know, you want big winners, but you know, I've just been struggling a bit mentally. And even though the profits have been there, and I'm up $4,600 on this account, which is awesome. That's, you know, when you consider the fact that you have a $2,500 drawdown, that's like an 80% rate of return, or actually it's like a 150% rate of return. It's crazy when you think about it in those terms. But I'm definitely taking too much risk, and my P&L is definitely swinging too much. So if we look at last month, we can look at all of June. If we look at so my longest trade was 14 minutes. My average trade is 3 minutes because I scalp. And so 58% profitable, $4,500 in profits. But if we look at the P&L, you know, honestly, this doesn't look too bad. It's just this big drop off here that really pisses me off. This really screwed me. I mean, this really doesn't look too bad. Let's see, I had a $1,000 winner. Yeah, I mean, this is not so bad. I mean, I had some big losses right here, and I definitely kind of lost it mentally there for a bit. That's definitely just a mental lapse. But like 660, 700, 615, 180, minus 135, 570, 570. Like, this isn't so bad. Another big loser here where I screwed up. I just need to cut out the fat on the downside, and I'll really be able to lock in these profits and be more consistent and get this payout next time. I mean, who knows? They might accept the payout because I barely went over, but you know how they are. They're not going to pay out if they can justify it in any way. So I'd give my trading like a C plus the past couple of days, past 2 weeks. You know, I've only had this account for like 10 or 12 days, but, and you know, I can't really be too mad about being up $4,500. But the thing is, I just know I could do so much better, and emotionally and mentally, I know I can do a lot better. And so it's going to be my focus from here on out. I'm really going to focus on being as strict as possible, because there's nothing worse than breaking your rules and then having a losing day because of that, or having a big drawdown because of that. So I want to see this P&L curve be a lot more like this and get rid of these big drawdowns and troughs. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks and the next couple of months, I can get some payouts accepted. And, you know, if you guys have any comments, you guys want to see anything else, I feel like I'm being pretty transparent here, showing you guys everything. Feel free to message me or comment on the video below. But again, this really is just for me. So this was day 10 of my trading, and we'll see if that payout gets accepted. I kind of doubt it though.